Welcome back to After Dark with Books, wherever you're listening or watching. I'm Amanda.
Hi, I'm Melissa. Welcome back.
Good morning. Before we get into it, let me do our content warning. When we dive into books we read, including dark romance, fantasy, thrillers, plenty of spicy content. Each episode will features intimate discussions or captivating characters, world building, and our own personal theories. So now let's get into this episode talking about Echoes Dancing with My Demons Book 2. There'll be a lot of spoilers, so consider this your warning. So, Dancing with the Demons Book 2.
Yeah, it was a good book. I gave it 5 stars. I actually liked Echoes better than I liked Unhinged, but I do like Unhinged. It was good, but book 2 explained more, and if you listen to the audio, it felt darker in my opinion, just the way that the characters were talking. And you got to they explained a little bit more about the characters in there in the second book, which I liked.
Yeah, and their backstories, why they were there. I think it was Theo we learned about Gray a little bit.
A little bit. Damon, a little. Like, we understood why. I don't want to say too much on that because I don't want to ruin it, but we understood, like, we explained why, like, he has so much freedom and pretty much he can do whatever he wants. But they didn't really explain his backstory.
No, and I would like to hopefully in book 3 they explain why him and Gray are so close.
Oh, they're gonna explain that in book 3. Hopefully,
yeah. Hopefully they explain it a little bit more why those two are the way that they are. There's gotta be a reason.
Or maybe they're just really good friends or something. I don't know, but hopefully in Revenge we'll find out more. And why they want to, spoiler alert, it was already announced at the beginning, spoiler alert, why they want to experiment on people.
That was towards the end. That was
yeah, I didn't understand that.
Crazy. So before we get right into the book, maybe the reason why is to explain why people behave certain ways. That was my theory. Maybe I'm wrong going into book 3, but that was one of my theories, especially towards the end, because that's when it really said something. It said that part at the end and then what happened at the end. So my theory leaving that book was, well, maybe they wanted to find out what makes people tick or snap.
That does make sense. Like, that makes sense. And then, do you remember the doctor always singing Pocket Full of Posies, We All Fall Down? Do you remember him always singing that? In the first book, too, he was always singing to himself.
Oh, the doctor, not the therapist. Yes, I knew that motherfucker was weird, and I pictured him being...
But do you understand? He kept singing it every time Avery would go in there to take these pills, whatever you're taking, and he would always be humming. He wasn't singing it, he would hum it.
But the totally went over my head.
The last time he said, Pocket Full of Posies, We All Fall Down. And I didn't click it. It didn't click to me until the end, and I was like, oh my god, he's been feeding her this whole time with these pills.
Yeah, I had that same... the song went over in my head. I didn't dawn on it.
It didn't click until towards the end. And I'm like, why is he always humming that? So,
wow.
That was a key, and I missed that key point in the book. One of the keys.
Yeah. So book 2 picks up right where book 1 left off, and we didn't go into
detail. That.
Yes.
And it gave a little reference before it got in, started book 2. It gave
I love that reference.
A back reference from book 1. And I like that because it would help a person like myself to remember what happened in book one.
Yes, and so we didn't give too many spoilers in last week's episode, just for our readers to really experience what we experienced for the first time. So we really didn't go into too many details, but we
Mm-hmm.
did, play it out. So book two goes right where book one left off, with a little introduction of what happened in book one. So
Mm-hmm.
Avery returns back to the Lilydale, but there's with caution that she comes back. There are rules that she has to follow coming back into the institution, which I really didn't like. And then I didn't remember, or not that I didn't remember, I didn't understand who the other man was in the room with her lawyer. Remember, there was another man. I'm like, where did this
Yeah, I
man?
didn't know who he was at first too. I was like, I wonder who this person is. Is he going to be a new character that's going to be at the what do they call it?
Lilydale.
Where they're at. But yeah, I didn't understand. But then we find out who he is, but we're not going to say who he is because that's a big key factor in the book. And I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, even for people who haven't read book one yet, he's not in book one,
No,
but he'll play a big part in book two and maybe book three and four.
probably.
Yeah. So Avery has to do all these different chores. She has to stay away from certain people, which is hard for her because there's not many people in this institute.
I think there's only 100 people altogether in the asylum or wherever you want to call it, where they're at. So it's kind of hard to stay away from certain groups. There's not very many people.
Right, and she's treated like garbage from both of these two, the head of Lilydale and this other man. Treated like, especially the head of Lilydale, treated like garbage by him. He makes her do the worst of the worst chores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then going like a whole day or so without food or water or anything like that. That was really bad. I didn't like that.
And no showering and having to mess with chemicals and
Mm-hmm. And like burnt her hands or something. That's why she had to go to where the doctor is.
And Gray really tries to stay away from her
Mhm.
because of what happened in book one. He's still traumatized of what, she betrayed him. But they weren't really an item. They weren't like a title. They didn't have a title to
No.
So he was still pissed off. Damon.
Yeah, he didn't like her anyway. But I think he did.
I think so too. He just had to keep it pushed down because he knows how much Gray adores her. So he was getting aggravated listening to Gray talk about her all the time. So finally he set up a meeting, brought her back only on the conditions of that she doesn't. I think they knew that she had to do certain things for these other two men. So that's why they brought her back to maybe keep her safe.
Or keep an eye on her to think that she was going to say something.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, to make sure she doesn't say anything.
I think she would have. I don't think she would have said anything.
I don't think so either, considering that she has to be with them more than the other two men.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. No, I don't think she would have said anything regardless, but they didn't know that because they barely know her. So they were probably trying to get a feel of her. Yeah.
Do you feel like this book was rushed or like it was too fast?
No. Well, because I don't have patience. So maybe to someone that does have more patience, but for me, I don't have patience. So I want the story like go. Get to it. Get. So for me, it wasn't rushed. I didn't feel like it was rushed.
I don't either, and I'm the opposite. I kind of like things to play out, but
yeah, I don't like slow burn. Now, I don't mind reading stuff that's slow, but I get to it.
Right, and I didn't feel like the pace of this book was too fast. I think that it played just right. Certain parts. Now, did it miss some certain parts that I would have liked to know? About a 5 for me. Even the audio was good.
The audio is where it's at. I mean, the books are good regardless without audio, but where it's at is the audio because those narrators or whatever you want to call them, they did a phenomenal job.
They brought out the story 10
Mhm.
times.
They did. It was amazing. I really did enjoy it. Let's see. The only thing they didn't explain was Damon's story. Like, they went into it a little bit, but they didn't go into it. Hopefully we'll learn more in book 3. But Theo's story, I don't know. I thought he would do something worse. It's worse. But Gray is the one. See, I thought Theo was the one that was like the worst. But I think it's Gray. Until we figure out the story on Damon's story, I think it's Gray because what he did in that office, I'm like, whoa, that's a little much. I wasn't triggered by it. I was just like, whoa.
Well, I wasn't triggered by it, but I thought it was a little too much is when Damon was like, okay, fuck it. You guys need to sit and talk, figure this shit out. Him and, with Gray and Avery. So when Avery goes into Damon's room, I thought that whole scene was a little too much. I wasn't triggered by it. I just thought it was just a little too much.
In the room?
Yes, where they go at it and he does some things, he marks her with some things.
Yeah, I wasn't triggered by that. I just thought it was like, okay, you're weird. Why are you trying to give her a little like tattoo because of her wrist in book 1? Why? So I wasn't triggered. I don't think I don't have triggers. I haven't came across any yet, I should say.
Being new, well, I guess we're both new to dark romance and all these triggers. I don't think I do either.
I don't think we've dived into Pitch Black Dark yet.
Oh, is there a Pitch Black Dark?
No, I don't consider this Pitch Black Dark. Like Captured, that was more like with Capture. I'm just using an example. Capture was more like gross. I'm like, ooh. But I don't believe that was Pitch Black Dark either. There's books out there. There's got to be darker than this.
I'm sure, but with the storyline and how this book picks up, I don't feel like I really like the storyline. I like the characters in this book. How the author just took book 1 and then slowly dipped it right back into book 2.
And I like because it talks about mental illness and I do like that because for a person that suffers from that, I like to see that in books.
Author brought light to certain things too about these, mental institutions, asylums, and all that. Brought issues to them because we don't know unless we've been in them. We don't know how some of them are, and not that all institutions are like this, but it opens our eyes. Yes, it could be worse. So I'm really liking how, Damon, now that I know what I know at the end of this book, I like how he's trying to protect and stop. I know Gray and Damon invited Theo to the secret society.
I think the reason why they invited him to have more safety for Avery, so that there was people around her 24/7. Tried to be. So, because with Gray and Damon, just the two of them, it wasn't enough to protect her. This is giving me Twilight vibes. This is giving me New Moon vibes when Victoria tries to come get Bella. This is totally giving me that Twilight vibe.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see everybody, Jacob and Edward trying to protect Bella. I can see that.
Yeah, so that's what this is going on with Avery. And what's his name? Gray is trying to bring Theo in because Damon didn't want Theo in. So I'm surprised. Well, hopefully we get a backstory. How come Theo wasn't in the secret society in the beginning? He wasn't with them.
Yeah.
You would think he would be, just is because he's, I don't know if I can say that on the Tickety Talk or on here, not as, he's like that, with them. So I'm surprised he wasn't with them at the beginning. He came in towards the middle the end of the book.
Maybe he just came off like he didn't give a fuck and didn't care what was going on or care to know what was going on.
Yeah, because he did say that he didn't like care or whatever.
But the after party after the meeting, that was
Thought when he said he was leaving, I thought they took him back to his room. I didn't know he was going over there and doing that. And I was like, oh, we're doing this. I knew these were Wide Shoes books or characters, Wide Shoes. I knew it was just by seeing the fan art. If you go to
Steph
Mecca's website. So I knew it was like a Wide Shoes, but I was like, oh, this is a Wide Shoes. Okay. So
no idea until I looked at the fan art and I'm like, okay, we're doing this.
It didn't bother me. I don't have a problem with that at all. After reading Den and Vipers, I think I can read pretty much any damn thing. I'm just going to leave it like that because that book was...
Not yet read that book. I need to. But it didn't bother. It just opened my eyes to another form of characters and characters interacting.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second Wide Shoes book. It didn't bother me. I was like, I'm like, oh, we're gonna go here. We're doing this, and then I didn't realize where Theo was until after it happened.
I kind of guessed it when they went back on the other aisle, and she's like, "What am I feeling? What? Then I knew. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to be called White Shoes in the next book, though. Like, it's not White Shoes because it's going to be... I don't want to say it because it's giving it away. So hopefully you're picking up on me.
Yes, I am. I don't know what it would be called. Well, I think it still would be a Wide Shoes because of steering off, because the Ruthless Boys is the same way. Not that there was anything spicy about the Ruthless Boys, but there were more than two men as main characters in the Ruthless Boys, and that's a Wide Shoes.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. So, and then after that, I really try to stay from reading. I'm reading notes. If you hear us, I know the viewers, if you hear us and we're looking over to the right or whatever, we're looking at notes. So we can stay on track.
Mm-hmm. Yes. After chapter 22, where all that happened, we're still trying to figure out. We know that Damon and the counselor are connected. I'm not going to give it away how, but they're connected. I don't want to spoil it. I don't remember if we said that they were connected. And then we learn about Theo's back, why he's in there, which I kind of feel really bad, but I don't blame him.
I don't blame him for doing that.
No.
What he did, I don't blame him one bit. Those people deserve that in my eyes. Maybe I'm a little, because that kind of thing doesn't. I'm like, you should have did more than that. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, going back into like Den and Vipers, I'm thinking like their mentality, like should have went after the family. So you should have did all. I don't know. That's just me thinking like crazy.
That's some like mafia shit right there. Like mafia. Okay, Dante. That's some.
Are you talking about Ruthless Creatures? You don't got nothing on Ruthless Creatures when it comes to Den and Viper. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. You need to read that book.
Yeah.
Ruthless Creatures book is very PG.
Oh, compared to. Okay.
Yeah. So. But it reminds me of like, if you're gonna go there, just go all the way. I don't know. That's the mental like side, like thinking like craziness or whatever. I don't know. But I get like I said, I get why he did it.
Well, that's what happened in book 4. If you remember, going off for a little tangent, since you brought that up, remember in book 4 in Ruthless Creatures how Spider said that happened to him? So, went after the whole family. Why stop at just those two like Theo did? Go after everyone who was connected to hurting his sister.
Because that kind of thing, you just don't do that. That was crazy right there. Very crazy in that book. Like, what? But that's just me thinking, like, because reading Mafia, reading all these out of, like, way, like, crazy books, so you think like that, like, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Yeah, I thought Theo would have been in there for something like really...
Yeah, way more than what it was, because I'm like, really? Oh. But when Gray did that in the office, I was like, what the fuck? Like, when I was listening and reading that, I was like, huh? And then you did that after in there, and ew. Now that part kind of grossed me out. I was just like, ew.
It was a little too much.
That was a little much right there. That specific part. The other part of him unalive, yeah, that was fine. I was like, okay. But the other part was like, ew. And then the last time Avery went into the office to see the doctor, he was singing. And then all of a sudden, I think, did she leave the office? Yes. She had to go to her counseling section. And then with there's a new character.
Yes, a new doctor, and she doesn't like him, and he ends up sending her back to her room, and just a straight asshole.
Oh, she was in the office at her counseling session, and she was like, I don't feel so good. I don't feel so
yeah.
good.
Right.
And she went to the doctor before she had her counseling section. And then after the end, when she wasn't feeling good, that's when lights went out. And we're like, what the hell? And then they said that at the end, and we're like, why? Why are you doing that? So can't wait to get into book 3. I mean, I'm just waiting for the audio to release. I do have book 3 already. I just, again, need to wait for it to release because I want to listen to it through the audio.
I think we're all hooked with the audio.
Yeah, the ones that have read the Unhinged series, we need the audio. It's just the way they word and the way they speak. It just the narrators, they just make it sound so much darker than what it, just sounds darker.
Yeah, and even the way the narrator does Gray is, oh my goodness.
Who is your favorite character now since you've read book 2?
I'd have to still say, well, I don't know. Now that I know Theo's backstory, I'm kind of more leaning towards Theo as like a protector, a shield. He's not after maybe he's not after the same things Gray is with Avery. Maybe he truly does have different feelings for her.
Maybe.
I think Gray's intentions are, I'm obsessed.
Yeah,
I need her at the moment.
He's giving me obsessed vibes.
I'm looking at some of my favorite quotes because you did some of your favorite quotes on book 1 last week. And
I know I have some quotes here. This is how I do my book reviews. I write them in here. I take pictures. Actually, I have a whole page full of notes.
Wow.
My favorite quote on Echoes was, "What's wrong, little killer? Scared of the 2 big bad men?" That was one of my favorite quotes from them.
Mine was, "Hey, little killer." I grinned, still holding on to the scruff of Ashwood's shirt. "Fancy seeing you."
Yeah.
And then there's another one, but I'll bleep out some parts of it. And it says, "You're pretty for me, a little killer." I groaned, fisting in I want to see how wet you are for me.
I don't remember. Why am I drawing a blank?
Well, if I say it all, you'll remember that part.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But as you can see, Like, I didn't write that much for Unhinged, but look what I wrote for Echoes. I
Wow.
wrote a lot. I could have wrote more, but I was running out of room, so I stopped. And then, yeah, and then I have for book 4 right here as well. This will be, let's hide that one. Book 4 or book 3. I'm sorry, for Revenge.
Real quick, do you think, to back it up just 2 seconds, do you think that what's your theories on what happened with Vivian? Because we see Vivian and Avery getting along, and
Oh,
then
I totally forgot about her. I totally forgot about that character. I think so.
Damon and Gray said the same thing. They're like, no, she didn't. Something
I don't.
else.
She did. I think something happened. I think they took her. Something. I think they did something to her.
Okay.
I don't
To
think she did
where they're
something
gonna
else.
take her to the same place where Avery's going at the end of book 2.
I think so. Or one of the counselors or whatever on staff did something to her because she was fine that morning when they were working together. They didn't like the idea of working together, but they sucked it up and were doing their job. So yeah, I think there's something planned in that part. There has to be. That's my theory.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that I don't think she's unalive. I think your other theory is someone could have done something to her to
Mm-hmm.
make her unalive,
Mm-hmm.
or the ending of the book is where she's at.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, I think they did something to her. So we'll see in book 3. We have next week, and the audiobook will be released. It will
What
be
date?
the 28th.
Okay.
It would be so nice to get a PR package from her, an early, like, 4th book and audiobook. I would love to just read it and give my review on that.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I always get mad when the audiobook and the books don't come out, but after finding out how much these authors have to put into money-wise,
That's a lot, yeah.
yeah, it could get pricey. So I'm glad that this book is really doing well, that we are able to get audiobooks out of these because the narrators do a phenomenal job.
And she picked the right ones. I actually would love to see this as a TV series. I would watch it.
Yeah, Showtime Max, definitely.
Oh yeah, I would have to be on one of those because of the way that
Yeah,
it is.
and I don't think that she would want to leave out those parts because those are not that they're important, but they're crucial moments
Mm-hmm.
in the book.
Yeah, they are.
Especially, the part with Theo, and then that one like split second moment with Damon and Avery where they're in the exact same room but in a different part of that room where her and Theo are, and that's when that
Yeah,
other thing happens.
yeah. So I'm just like, wow. But I have to say, as characters, I think I said Theo. It's Damon. It's Damon. I think he's my favorite character because he's such an asshole. And I think that pushes me towards him more because he's such an asshole and I want to know his story. Theo's okay. Theo and Gray are okay. I like the characters, but I'm drawn towards Damon more. And from the second book, because of the second.
And he compresses his feelings, I feel, to protect others. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's his language, that he suppresses his but I don't think we're going to see that suppression in book 3. I think that
Maybe they might explain it in book 4. She might explain it in book 4. What is book 4's? What's the name of that book? I know book 3 is Revenge. And I think I have my theories are with Revenge. The reason why I call that because they're just gonna flip shit and they're gonna go after because what happens in book 2, the shit's gonna hit the fan in book 3, and yeah, it's gonna hit the fan. So I don't know. I'm looking at it. That's why I keep looking down because it's over there on. I call it my TBR rolling or what do you call that? Because it spins bookcase.
Oh, yeah.
Rotating bookcase. Yeah, it's like right there. I can see it. So I really think that that book is going to explain a whole lot more. Book 2 explained, but this book, yeah, we're going to learn a lot.
Do you think the cliffhanger is going to be more intense from book 1 and 2? Do you think book 3 is going to have that cliffhanger from?
So far, there has been a cliffhanger in every at the end of every book so far. I don't know.
I'm liking the cliffhangers though. Maybe because we have all the books at our fingertips, except for book
technically, I could
4.
have read it. I could have physically read it, but it's just I want the audiobook to listen to it. So I think that's probably what I'm waiting for. That's why I haven't read anything, because I don't want to jump into anything. I just want to dive into the book 3.
Yeah.
She did a really good job. So far,
Yes.
she's done a really good job on that. So, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I love it. And thanks for the recommendation, because now I'm hooked.
I saw it on TikTok. I don't know, it popped up on my FYP page, and I'm like, in the audio, it's the audio that what got me, and when it said knock knock little killer, and I'm like, what's that? And then I went on the diving hole, like looking this book up and reading about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to read this. So I didn't know anything about them either until it popped up.
I didn't read the synopsis about all these books. I'm going into book 3 blind, not knowing. I didn't even read the blurb, no reviews, nothing.
I normally like to go into books blind anyway. Maybe that's a problem I shouldn't be doing because of certain books we've read. But I don't know. I don't want to read the blurbs. I just want to just dive in and listen. So, but I guess we're gonna leave you there. Stay tuned for next, or I don't know if we're gonna have a video next week. Maybe in a couple weeks after we read Revenge, because we want to stay in this book. And the next book for those will be released in October. The 4th book, I forgot the name of it for October. But yeah, so stay tuned, and thank you so much again for tuning in. If you're not following us over on, Apple Music,
Spotify, Audible, and iHeartRadio.
Yes, please give us a follow over there. If you've not hit the subscribe button over on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. That really helps us a lot. And yeah, I guess that's it. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Well, we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.